Hello, this is teddygaming. Welcome back to another review on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Tales of TMNT, Volume 2, Issue number 23, Attack of the Replicants. So with this issue, it was one which I was quite intrigued by, just because this issue had a cover of Leatherhead on it, and I was quite intrigued by it. And then also, I did read a little bit of the description for this issue, saying something along the lines, basically the Ultrons were back and they're evil, and Leatherhead needs help and stuff like that. And then just by, judging off of, the last issue that I saw Leatherhead in, where he went to the Ultron homeworld, I was really intrigued by it, just because I was not really too sure what to really make of it. And also, I must admit, I've been quite surprised by how much Ultrons have been involved in the most recent Tales of TMNT stuff, just because I was not really expecting them to be playing a big part in most of the stories, so I was quite surprised by that. And then reading this issue, it was a little bit boring to start off with, but I think that when you get to the ending, it's one which I feel like is one be like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened and stuff like that, and the shocks and the revelations that they do present in this issue, it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe it did that, and it's really interesting, but it's a shame that the actual story is really boring. Okay, so the actual main story itself, if we do first start off with two parts before they basically mold into one story. So I'll talk about the Leatherhead side of things first. So we do first get to see him. He's on the Ultron homeworld, and he's been captured and he's been experimented on by the Ultrons. And these Ultrons are part of the Ultron race. However, they're part of a cult, I'm gonna say, and basically these Ultrons have been following the guide from this person called the Illuminati or something like that, and basically they want to create a being so they can go around the universe and kill anyone who's violent. Which I must admit, in hindsight, that's a decent plan. But I feel like the execution was definitely wrong, but they do take it a little bit too far, and they do think that Leatherhead is the key to basically destroying anyone who's going to be violent, just because he has the perfect body, the brute, or the strength, the intelligence, everything that they need is right there in Leatherhead, and they think by taking him and cloning him into making millions of him, they could destroy the universe of any violence, which I don't know how that really works, but yeah, it is what it is. But then we do have the Earth side of things. We do get to see some Ultrons. They do go to Earth and they come in contact with the Turtles and ask them to basically come help us, and your lives will be your lives won't be in danger or anything like that. And also not to mention Earth is next for destruction, which I feel like was the big, oh my god, I can't believe this is all happening and just going taking things to the next level. Just because the first attack which they were going to do was on the Triceratons, and no one told us we were really having it, and just want to be like, yeah, no, they can really die. The universe can be better off without them. But when it gets to Earth, they're like, yeah, okay, we better step in. And it is really interesting when we do actually go to space. So in this bit here, we do get to see the Turtles. They're in space, and we do find Leatherhead. And with this bit, I was quite surprised by this, just because I know that with the Mirage Leatherhead, he's been all over the place, I want to say, with his, him being a good guy and a bad guy, and then the Volume 4 stuff, he was somewhere in between, but I wasn't really too sure what sort of stance he really took with the Turtles. And with this bit here, I'm still not entirely too sure, and it did give me a lot of 2003 Leatherhead kind of vibes, but at the same time I'm not too sure what to really make of it. But either way, it was there. The Turtles rescued him, and the Turtles go into this big bay area, and that's when they come in contact with the Leatherhead clones. So here we do get to see them fighting, and there's not really too much to it. It's just you just got to see them fighting. You've got to see Don use a big robot and just start killing all the clones with a machine gun, which again, it's really feeling off character for Donatello, just because I know that in the Mirage or the Volume 1 stuff, he didn't like the guns, especially after using one to save, I believe it was Cry's life in the Set of War stuff. So it seems really weird that all of a sudden he's now pro gun and wants to kill everyone. So it just seems really out of character for him, especially within last few issues of him doing this kind of stuff. But either way, it's here, and oh god, it feels so wrong to see him like this. But then after that, we do get to see that the Ultron that was working with the Turtles, he says basically to the Turtles, you need to leave, this place is gonna blow up because there's a bomb. I'm the bomb. And I was quite surprised by that, just because I was not really expecting him to be the bomb, or like any sort of bomb there whatsoever, but that was an interesting bit. But we do get to see the turtles and Leatherhead, they escape from the place, and we do get to see the place blows up, which was sad. However, it gets much more sadder when we do talk about Deuteron himself. Now, the Turtles and Leatherhead are sort of wondering why all this happened. Leatherhead's wondering why people saved him because he thinks of himself as a monster and stuff like that. Now, one of the Utrons comes over and says to him, basically, this Utron is a very important Utron for your lives. And the reason for that is because that Utron that basically blew himself up was the one that was responsible for all of the mutations. He was the one who was driving a truck that basically the mutant went out of. And I was really surprised and shocked by this, just because I was not expecting anything like that. And to see it like play out, it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing stuff like that. And I wouldn't say it's like heartbreaking or anything like that, but it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe we did that. And the lore and the history behind it is like really great. I was not expecting it, and I like it. And I do think that there is something about it that just like really makes it work and just really brings out the, I don't know, the like making it like feel like a much bigger universe that we're all living in like the total universe. And I think that really helps like make it bigger and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, it's a shame that they ended on this part of the issue, but it's still like a really great thing. And at the same time, I just can't believe that he's dead now. So it sort of just seems like, yeah, you know, he did a really great thing. Doesn't matter, he's dead. You won't ever talk about him again. So anyway, moving on. But yeah, so yeah, overall, I do think that this story was pretty boring in so many ways, and I feel like there was so much stuff they could have done with this storyline, and it's a shame that they did cut it down to just one issue, because I do feel like with something like this, that it is a really great idea to really execute over like quite a few issues, but if it only be done in like one issue, and like basically eliminating the threat in one issue, it does somewhat, I want to say, just doesn't really make the threat feel as big as it is, but I know that it's sort of like pretty big threat when they're threatening the universe. But at the same time, because we don't get to see that, and when we get to see the Turtles take it down in one day, it just feels like it's not really much of a big threat. But yeah. And then for the artwork, which was something which I was quite surprised at, just because this artwork is done by Jim Lawson, and the reason why I'm quite surprised by that is just because the artwork in this issue doesn't really look like his artwork. It feels a bit more like artsy stuff, I want to say, and it doesn't really feel like his normal artwork. And I think that's like interesting and great, because you know, it shows that he can do a lot more stuff than what he's normally capable of. And it's, I don't know, because on the one hand, I do sort of miss his art style, but at the same time, I'm liking this one because it's like something different, fresh and unique, and not just very blocky in a way. And I feel like that's one, like, basically one of my biggest problems about his artwork is that it does feel quite a bit blocky, which is a little bit disappointing. But seeing it here like this, with different like shapes and stuff like that, it's like, I don't know, it's just like, where did he go wrong with drawing the Turtles in such a blocky way for like a decade or like 2 decades, and yet we've got something like this which looks like interesting? What went wrong? But yeah, overall this was an okay issue. I really don't think it's going to be one which I'll go back to anytime soon, but I did enjoy it quite a bit for like the lore and history of Leatherhead, the Utrons and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. If it doesn't, please share. Let's just grown up stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.